know it's wrong, I know it's right. I see the truth, but I stay blind. I say I'm fine, but I know there's no hope inside. Can't even take my own advice, even though you've been showing signs. Maybe you go your way, and so will I. Now I'm sitting in a car that I won't start. Maybe I got too much to say right now, like I'm paralyzed from the waist down. Why is it so hard? Cause every time I try to leave, something keep pulling me back. Every time I try to leave, something keep pulling me back. I know I know better, but some just won't let up, let up. Every time I try to leave, something keep pulling me back. Yeah, was it a fight we never had? Was there a good and all the bad? Is it enough for me to never wanna come back? Oh yeah, maybe I'm running from my truth, but baby I blame it all on you. It's really me, but all my pride would never say that. So I'm sitting in a car that I won't start. Maybe I got nothing to say right now, like I'm paralyzed from the waist down. Why is this so hard? Cause every time I try to leave, something keep pulling me back. Every time I try to leave, something keep pulling me back. I know better, but some just won't let up. Every time I try to leave, something keep pulling me back. Every time I try to leave, something keep pulling me back, telling me I need you in my life. Yeah. Every time I try to leave, something keep pulling me back, telling me I need you in my life. Need you in my life.
you waving at?
My boo.
What you waving at?
No, he just pulled up next to me.
We keep Joe out the whole show for 2 hours because we can't hear him. He's on mute. So good morning, folks.
Morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today?
Still can't hear you, Joe. Good morning. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Still can't hear you. We can see you, Joe, but we can't hear you. I can hear Jax.
Yep.
I can hear myself, but I can't hear Joe. And I was the one that was tardy this morning. My daughter called. There you go.
Oh.
I thought maybe the governor or or Douglas Guidry, they stole your mic, stole your audio chip, stole your audio chip.
What's up, Joe?
What's up, family? How y'all doing on this fifth day of April? 6 minutes past the hour. Good morning. TGIF. Thank God that it's Friday. Thank God that we are forgiven. And welcome to hashtag truth be told. Chaya. Yeah, that's all I can say about that. Give me three wings and fried rice. It is Friday, y'all. Oh my God. How's the weather there in Brick City, Jax? How's the weather?
You know what? It's 42 degrees. It's sunny, a little slightly overcast, a little bitey and brisk, but it's still a beautiful day. Once again, beautiful day. The rain has subsided, so we doing all right today.
That's what I'm talking about, brother Fatim. How we looking down there in South Kakalaki as we get ready tonight for that Final Four showdown?
Oh yeah.
Tell me something. How we looking in South Kakalaki?
Well, South Kakalaki is sunny. It's bright. It's going to be cool. It's going to be good. I mean, it's going to be in the 60s. It's been in the 70s, close to 80s down here. But for the week, it'll be in the 60s and sun. New York City is like Michael Keith said, but I already got the weather report from my daughter. Chris morning in New York City after this torrential rain up there in the East Coast, especially Jackson. They go to King right there. There you go. Oh, boo there. And, yeah, let me just say why I was a little tardy. My daughter put a little bump in my heart this morning because she was like, "Daddy, I had an accident."
Oh.
Yeah, she said her first car accident and somebody hit her and pushed her into the next lane on the conduit, the South Conduit in New York. Anybody knows that part of New York, the South Conduit goes into the Belt Parkway, and not major damage. She's okay. So she got to report it to the police department. Police didn't come. It takes 2 hours for them to come. I had to go to, I'm not going into too much. I had to go to higher ups because her car, somebody vandalized her car a couple of months ago, and they took so long to come. So I call a higher up. They were there in 20 minutes, and they got out the car apologizing to my daughter. And my daughter said, "Daddy, who do you know? Don't worry about
Everybody.
it. Don't
Everybody.
worry about it. Everybody.
Who don't Daddy know?"
But, good morning. I'm glad that she is okay, So tomorrow is that solemn day that my wife made her transition around 9:54 in the morning. So I will be visiting her gravesite. Her gravesite is in South Carolina, so it's about an hour and 15, 20 minutes away from me. And then I have to go see some of her side of the family due to the fact that one of her aunts passed away. So I'll be down there tomorrow as I prepare to be in New York City next week for Reverend Al Sharpton's National Action Network convention, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at the Sheraton. So I was up early this morning making sure that my hotel reservations, everything is in place, got my plane. And then after the convention, I don't need a car while I'm at the convention, but I need a car that weekend while I go to the house up there, because like I said, I do a residency, between New York and South Carolina. Don't think I'm still in New York, folks. Don't think I'm.
Oh, he in New York.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's right. Well, prayers for you this weekend, Brother Fatim. Prayers and love are with you. I know it's not going to be easy, and we just love you. We support you, and I wish I could just wrap my arms around you. But just know that Joe and I and Sister Shauna will be there with you in spirit, and prayers out to you and to the girls. And prayers to Hanifa for being an amazing woman and loving on an amazing man for so many years.
I
So we love you,
appreciate
Brother
that.
Fatim.
Thank you. And I keep dreaming of her. And I told my daughter this morning, I had a dream yesterday, real quick, Joe and Jax, is that yesterday, one of the dreams, it's like I got her essence, like when I first met her. Because when I first met her, I just would sometimes just stare at her. I just look and I was like, you grew up in Brownsville, Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn? Just the warm and the beautiful personality that she had. She just didn't seem like she was a person out of the heart of Brooklyn, out of Brownsville. Brownsville is hard, y'all.
It's not do or
Brownsville
die.
is hard. It is not easy. And and that dream yesterday, I dreamt about her last night, this morning as well. So I guess it's in my subconscious, because I'm not sitting mourning and sad and things like that. Of course, I miss her. But I also understand that she's been through a trial, and for her to live to almost 61 years of age, that might sound young to some, but for the life expectancy of a sickle cell patient with early 40s, like her sister passed that life expectancy age of 42 years of age. So for her to see that, to get to close to 61, a month away from her 61st birthday last year, that's a blessing. So I thank God for all the time that we had. She could have left us when those kids were little. She could have left us, but she didn't. She left them while they became adults. So again, you got to be thankful for what you had or have versus complaining of what you don't have.
That's right. And you know what? Energy never dies. So we don't really know what fully happens on the other side. And it could be her way of trying to comfort you leading up to that anniversary, to let you know, honey, I'm okay. I love you. She could be missing you from the other side, just like you're missing her. So as long as you feel comforted and not afraid, and you feel that love and that warmth of, Fatima, Hanifa, rather, that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. So we love you, Brother Fatima.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
We got nothing but love for you, brother.
Thank you, Douglas Guidry, and everybody else in the chat for saying the words that you're saying. And condolences to you and prayers to you, Douglas Guidry. So he said that condolences to Brother Fatim. I know the feeling, lost my sickle cell warrior 5 months ago. So my prayers, condolences to you. People just don't know what the sickle cell warriors, and that he's right. They are warriors. I call them warriors and warriorettes. Just don't know what the pain and the infections that they go through, and then they have to fight the health field, the doctors and the nurses, because they looked at as frequent flyers for pain meds, or they under medicate them, or they discharge them too quickly, or they don't admit them when they need to be admitted. So those are the things, and that's why I am an advocate for sickle cell, and I will never back up from fighting for those that have sickle cell disease.
That's right. And big shout out to the caregivers and lovers and spouses of those who are battling sickle cell, because people don't realize what you guys have to go through on a regular basis, trying to love on and be supportive. And when you see your loved one so sick and in pain, when they have those sickle cell crises, when the weather changes, or, they sometimes have to get blood transfusions, and they're just going through so much, and they're ready to just give up, but they still try to fight because they love their loved one, they love their children, they love life, but they're just so tired of being in pain. Sometimes they get ulcers, their body doesn't heal, as well. If they just go through so much, and it's a lot of fear even for the children whose parents have sickle cell, because the kids deep down, they're fearful. Is mommy gonna come out the hospital the next time? Is daddy gonna come out the hospital the next time? So there's a lot of anxiety and stuff built in, whether it's sickle cell or any other illness. So we just pray and we thank God for you strong warriors that help to care for those battling sickle cell. So you guys cannot be forgotten either. So we love you, and we continue to pray for you.
Right on point. I got to give you a bell on that. You hit it right on the point. You hit it right on the head. Great words. Great words. Thank you, Sister Jax.
15 minutes past the hour on this Freedom and Fun Friday. Remember that he that the sun sets free is free indeed. Freed indeed. Now, look, I normally never would do this, but I have to do this. Family. We got to get our numbers up. So I'm going to do something I normally don't do. I'm going to tell y'all how you can see us. We're right now broadcasting live on Facebook, and on YouTube and on Instagram. And you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Tell a friend to tell a friend. I need you to click like and share. I need you to follow. I need you to click like and share. I need you to follow us at the JDMS on Facebook and on Instagram. Tell a friend to tell a friend. If you're loving what we do every morning, we are here for 2 hours every morning. We are here from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock Central Time, which is 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock Eastern Time. Click like and share, and please go like us there. Like our individual Facebook pages, like my Facebook page, Joe Dupree Anderson, like Brother Fatim's Facebook page, Brother Fatim, like Sister Jack's Facebook page, which is Jackie Harrison. Like these pages. Follow us on YouTube. We got to get our numbers up. Why? Because it's a numbers game. I see the king over there getting himself ready. He look like he's getting ready to do some Rocky. Hold on, let me get like you. Okay.
Maybe they talk about you. No, you know what?
Follow us on YouTube.
It's spring break up here for a lot of the kids.
Follow us on YouTube.
It's spring break up here for a lot of the kids. And 17 years ago, as a police officer, my husband started a program for like spring break, summer break, winter break. So today is the last day of his week doing, spring break with the kids. So we took our cornhole game from home that we take to different events. So I'm about to go in there and plug up and do the podcast from in there while he's getting ready to do some great stuff with the children today. So that's what Rocky Balboa was out there doing.
Rocky Balboa.
Mr. T, whoever it is. But that's Balboa. So I'm signing off. I'll see y'all in a minute.
All right. Sounds good. Hey, Joe, real quick, so yesterday, I posted, part of the show, and a lot of people clicked on and saw what, was said. What I put on Facebook stories, it didn't capture the whole clip. So I put it also on TikTok, where it got you talking about those minions. That's why I shared it back to you guys as a text message via TikTok, because the TikTok portion had the portion where you came back and we was talking about those minions, which was important. But that's how, we get out there. And yesterday was a very high-spirited and energetic show. But like I said, we don't live in the past. We move forward. We thank God for those that continue to support us and participate and call us and put us in the chat, and the people that just log on and don't say anything and just watching us and watching what we do and have opinions they like or dislike or criticize or whatever. But we really appreciate your support. And this is what, we're trying to create something that's a little new. And watch. We explode. Watch what happens. Other people will be following, but that's the point. It's about information. We don't own information. Information is for everyone, but we want to make sure that we have a platform that is out there that supports the community across the United States, with us being in different locations at different times. So that was yesterday's show. And Michael Keith said yesterday's show was awesome and brilliant, Brother Fatim. Thank you, Brother Michael Keith. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm thankful for the team that we have assembled. Yourself, Sister Jax, Sister Shauna. This is what I do, family. I've been doing this. So I'm just always blessed when I meet other folks who want to collaborate, and it's not a competition. Too many times in this business is who's got the biggest mic, who's the most popular. And I posted that this morning from Brother Barrows. We got to understand, Black faces in high places don't equal every time things that we equate to us being there, making it to the promised land. Because sometimes those Black faces that make it to the high places, they're not concerned about you or I. They're not concerned about the greater good of the community. All they're concerned about is themselves, their friends, their families, and a lot of them work together with the oppressor to keep us oppressed, because they want to be the only chip in the cookie. They want to be the only Black person in the room. They want to be the one that has all the information about what's going on from a higher space, and they feel empowered and emboldened that once they make it in that room, they want to shut the door and not let another Black person in there because they want to be your information source. They want to be the one that has the crown on their head that says, I have access to this information and you don't. And yesterday we kind of went deep and we dived a little deep into it to the point that my phone is still ringing off the hook. But guess what? I told y'all, I'm like Ultron. Ain't no strings on me. And I'm thankful that I'm with some people that ain't got no strings on them either. And we can literally say what we need to say because sometimes you got to speak truth to power, even when that truth to power exposes Black and brown folks that look just like you and I.
Exactly. Let me just say this because Shafara Bridges says, yesterday's show is the reason I am here today. Thank you all so much for this platform. And thank you, Shafara, for being continuing to watch us. I just want to say this to people. A lot of times people like to typecast us into things. One of the things, and I come out from another group of brothers who Brother Michael Keith and those that are from New York know that I produced a show that now I host, Open Line, on WBLS. But before I hosted that show, I was with three dynamic brothers. Bob Slade, musician, Grammy Award winning musician, James Mtume, and attorney, former judge Bob Pickett out of New Jersey. And these were some dynamic brothers. And one of the things that we did is we talked about politics, we talked about sports, we talked about music, we talked about the gamut. And that's what we do here. I don't want folks to think like yesterday. And again, we don't shy away from anything, but we're not typecast into one thing. And I'll say this again, Reverend Sharpton has become more of and the reason why I'm bringing up Reverend Sharpton, is because I produce his show. He's become more of a political animal. So he's more found that lane. But when I first started producing Reverend Sharpton's show, what I did is I introduced Reverend Sharpton to not introduced him, but introduced his audience to different topics that people was like, I didn't know Reverend Sharpton commented about that. We did a health piece with a medical doctor and the girl, Corinne Steffens, known as Superhead. And at that particular time, she wrote a book and about him being out there with numerous sleeping around and whatever. But we talked about the jump off and talking about safe sex. That was interesting. We talked about relationships and we talked about a relationship. We played a skit by this brother where he was coming to pick up his daughter, a Black guy coming to his former wife was a Black woman, but he was sitting in the car with his new wife, a white woman. And the clip showed the women, oh, look at him pulling up with this white woman and blah, blah, blah. And they had this conversation. So then when he came to get his daughter, the former wife gave him some flack. And then he went, so-and-so. So we played the clip. And the brother that put it out, we had on the show. Reverend Sharpton said, oh, Fatina, I'll just do this 2 segments. We did that for 3 hours. We talk about the book, Pimps in the Pulpit. We talked about those that preyed on us from the church. We talked about those kind of issues that the former talk show host Michael Basin talked about. So that's what we do here on this broadcast. We mix it up. We talk about what's hot. You talk about Diddy. We talk about R. Kelly. We talk about whatever's out there that needs to be talked about because we know that we are not a monolithic people, that we only political. Yes, politics are important. We're in a national presidential election this year, and we understand that, and we are into that. But we have to talk about politics being local, how we need to get involved. We got to talk about the things that we don't do right and how to get ourselves together. We talk about those outside our community that continue to keep their foot on our necks. So we cover a gamut of stuff. So if you want to share some ideas in the chat, some things that you would like to see us to talk about, we'll take it in consideration. We'll jot it down and revisit it. And sometimes we'll go out there and get other folks, experts, or other folks that deal with those issues. Some folks may be new to you, and some folks may be some A1 listers that you know that will be on to join us to converse with you on some of those issues. So drop some of the things that you would like to hear us talk about in the chat. And trust us, we don't shy away from anything.
Yeah, we will definitely address the issues. We talk local, we talk we talk city, we talk state, we talk national, we talk global. And you know, we really have a superstar team that has assembled here. Um, just the A-listers that Brother Fatim and myself have access through to. Brother Fatim, of course, through the work that he has done there at Hot 97 and WBLS, along with Reverend Al Sharpton and many other organizations. The brother has did stuff with the urban. I'm still trying to find Brother Morial.
Marielle, National Urban League.
Yeah, he's did work with the National Urban League. So have I. You know, I've did a lot of work with a lot of folks. You know, we're both well traveled all over the world. You know, and I do a lot of work with HBCUs. Um, even though you know, and I do a lot of work with HBCUs. You know, my collegiate journey started at, and let me give shout outs, though you never see me wear any of that paraphernalia, I will. You know, my journey started out at Lane College in Jackson, Tennessee, which is a HBCU, which is the oldest African American Methodist college. It was actually formed as a seminary for people of the Methodist faith to go to school to become preachers and pastors. And you know, family, we're here once again to tell you that you need to think, not how to think. Now, many folks, you know, and I've been laughing lately because I see folks, and I'm so proud to see it because just like yesterday in our very colorful and passionate conversation, we talked about what happened and what could have happened if they wanted it to happen. So let me say this: I'm starting to see folks buy a bunch of podcasting equipment. I applaud all of you, all of you. Yes, go get it, go get it. Do I think everybody deserves to be buying podcast equipment and doing podcasts? That's another story for another day at another time. However, I think everybody should, if they feel they can jump into this arena and do it, jump in here and do it. I have learned, and I will bring up some names, and Brother Fatim will probably laugh. People ask me, why do you do what you do? Because for years that people don't know about. Because you see me now, you didn't see me then. For years, I sat at the feet of Denise LaSalle and her husband, James Superwolf, and observed them build a radio station from the ground up in the rural South, playing Black music when they were fighting with all type of oppression, all type of systemic racism. I sit at the feet of Bobby OJ at K97 in Memphis. And Bobby many a times had me just carrying records and just following him and saying, don't say a word, just watch what I do and listen. I sit at the feet of Clarence Thomas at WDIA. Oh, y'all can Google these folks. And see, here's the crazy thing. There's folks who jump in this media game and jump in radio, but don't know WDIA was the second Black radio station in the United States of America, only to be followed by the first one that was in Atlanta, Georgia, that could ever broadcast Black music, period. And family, I've sit at the feet of some great people who have taught me a great deal. And even though I talk a lot, there was a time in my life all I was doing was listening and observing. So what I suggest to all you folk out there who getting into the podcasting, the media, and a lot of people get into it for the right reason, and some people get into it for the wrong reason. But what I always suggest is sit at somebody's feet. You know, sit at somebody's feet. I had to pay some dues. I had to pay some folks. There was some times that I had to pay to go to conferences and go to learn. And I'm not a mass communications major. I'm not. That's not what I went to school for. However, I was blessed with a gift, and the Most High allowed me to continue as I do now to use this gift. And I just saying, family, you know, I spent a lot of folks who are from where I live at now, Lafayette, Louisiana, think that my whole radio career started here. It didn't. I've been in this thing since I was 15 years old. And if the Lord allowed me to see the 22nd of June, I'll be 57. And all I can tell you is, family, that this is a thing that I suggest everybody who wants to be a part of this thing, get in it. But make sure that what you're doing is uplifting your people and putting your people in a place where you ain't necessarily telling them how to think, but just tell them they need to think. Give them the information, let them Google it for themselves, and let them figure out what fits their scenario and what fits their household, because one size does not fit all. I'm ex-military. There's some things I've experienced that Jax has never experienced, that Brother Fatim has never experienced. Jax is a woman. Jax has experienced some things that I have never experienced and never will. Brother Fatim grew up in New York City, in Brooklyn. I don't know how it feels to grow up in Brooklyn. I grew up on a rural.
It's a vibe, baby.
I grew up on a rural farm in Tennessee, where for the first 13 years of my life, I was the only black kid in my school.
Yeah.
So we've all experienced our own experiences, and we all bring value to the table. That's what I wanted to say. Stop devaluing them folks. And let me go to Brother Fatim. Stop devaluing folks because they don't bring the value that you bring to the table. Everybody brings value to the table, Brother Fatim.
So let me just say this. Thank you, Joe, for that. I think we need to get into some conversation. First of all, Douglas Guidry says, I'm declaring my run for city council right here on this show. So he says that. So we kind of touched this before in different conversations in the sense of taking a look at some of the issues that we look at that play a role in some of the behavior out here. And when you was talking about your background and looking back at some of the things, Joe, the people you've been around, Jax, your influence, I look back at television. That when we as Black folks got chance to get into movie scripts and things like that, and our stories were starting to be told. If you go back, even when we didn't have Black directors or producers, back in the 40s and the 50s and even the 60s, even though there was still that strong racial overtone in this country, there were more truthful stories being told in movies. Then when we got into the 80s and the 90s, we wanted more Black directors because we want to go deeper in to our stories. Not only what we saw in the substance, but what caused it. You understand? To give our flavor on it. Music in our music was always a message. When I use the word always a message, I mean, of course, music also made you feel good, but there was also that message music, a platform. In the arts, it was always a statement that we as Black folks were trying to make, even as politicians back in the day. So my question today is you look at television, you look at radio, you look at radio back then, first of all, you had Black newspapers, you had Black programming, you had Black talk shows, you had numerous Black radio-owned stations, Black ran stations. You understand what I'm saying? That catered to the community. They felt they had an obligation to the community that, we played the music that made you feel good, but they gave you information to make sure that you know how to move good. And now we look at where we at today, 2024, 21st century, more technology out here. But you look at Black radio stations, ownership is down tremendously. Black newspapers are obsolete pretty much. Black media outlets almost obsolete. So how is our message getting out? Look at the music today. And this is where I do agree with you, Douglas Guidry. I talk about the balance. I don't have a problem if you want to pop and feel good. But where is the balance? You go back to, for me, the 80s, the mid 80s, late 80s, 90s, even when hip hop came out, it was about fun. But those brothers and sisters started to go into the message music, just like our R&B artists were giving message music. So we don't have that today. So how important is that? And what are we missing? And if we're missing this, how does that affect us as a community? Joe and Jax and our listening audience, how does it affect us when we don't have the platforms? You understand? And then when we do have the Roland Martins and what we're doing here, what I'm doing on Open Line, it's beautiful that we're doing it, but it doesn't have that mass appeal. It doesn't have that mass appeal, and we have a void because it's the silos that we had before, Joe and Jax. We had numerous silos that it seems like it was a conglomerate. Now it's sporadic silos. I'm in New York. We're doing this here. Roland Martin may be down in the West Coast or in the South. But you see when Tavis Smiley's on the West Coast. A lot of people don't even know Tavis Smiley's back in radio and doing that. Ed Gordon. What I'm saying, and then younger people, there's younger folks that are coming up. I just was talking to my producer. I want to bring some younger folks that are, not because you're younger, because you're politically and you're astute in conversation out there. You understand? I just talked to Tamika Mallory. If you know who Tamika Mallory, she's an activist out there. I just spoke with her the other day. She called me on something and she told me she's more available on things. She was just talking about what happened at Tennessee State with Reverend Barber at a press conference this week. How important is this information where we don't have the vehicles like we once had? And how does that affect us, our community? Does it create the void of this kind of information and this have our people somewhat walking blindly or with like a horse with blinders on?
You know what I think, Brother Fatin, our people oftentimes now are so full of fear. They're full of fear. Nobody's really interested in being a revolutionary. They're afraid of how people will look at them. So it's easier for them to go along with the masses and just go along to get along instead of actually standing up and not being afraid to stand up. Back in the day, we had people standing up. We had people banding together to stand up for the same cause. But now we've been so oppressed and so divided that we feel like I'm scared to stand up because she might say this. Like you have it nowadays where people are like, damn, I can't even say I'm a girl, or I can't even say, I'm a boy or I'm a man, or I'm a masculine man or I'm a feminine, woman. So if you can't even express the essence of who you are, it's harder for you to stand up for anything. So people also are moving with low self-esteem. They don't believe in themselves. And we know how drugs have plagued our community and, how, socioeconomically, we're at a different level than we were before. Back in the day, look how many of our family members owned homes, right? But now you look at those same homes in the urban communities, they're trap houses now. Why is that? Our grandparents had that great work ethic to save up and buy the home and make it that, big mama's house type thing or granddaddy's house. But nowadays, those homes are all condemned because nobody really, especially once drugs came in, that totally messed up that generation that should have taken over big mama's house, right? And so it's almost like scaffolding in reverse. So we just really have to pray for our people that we wake up and don't be afraid to wake up. Like I said yesterday, we are wrapped up in a weighted blanket of oppression, and we need to take that weighted blanket of oppression off and not be afraid to stand up and do what we have to do to make change within our community. And like you said, with platforms like this, there's tons of platforms out there, but people are not utilizing it in the right manner. They just talk just to talk sometimes. We're talking and it's very substantial. We have things that we talk about. We goof off sometimes and have fun, but we talk about the realness of our society. So right here, we are revolutionaries trying to make a change and build up our community. And we need more people like that.
And Jax is so correct. And I'll say this, because yesterday I spoke to y'all about an issue that happened when I was in college, and our professor took us to the track. And it was funny. My old collegiate buddy Brent called me yesterday. We had a serious conversation. And Brent said, once again, he said, listen, he wants to emphasize, and I'm going to try to bring him on the show. One of the things he said is we have to get individuals who don't look like you and I to empathize and to understand this was not a fair game from the beginning, and say we're going to do something to give our own reparations, even if the government doesn't feel like reparations is necessary. And that, I feel, is where we begin to make the start, where when folk who don't look like you and I understand this game was not fair from day one, What do we do to even this game out to the best of our ability? And when folk who don't look like you and I begin to talk to other folk who don't look like you and I and use their power and influence to bring about the change where we all begin to look at each other as human beings, understanding that some are black, some are white, but we didn't get the fair handshake from day one. And we've got to do better, Brother Fatim.
Yeah, so listen to these two comments. Douglas Guidry writes, blacks today can't equate to blacks of yesterday. We stood together and had a sense of pride of being black. Michael Keith writes, always stand up for what for what you truly believe in and don't be shy. Brother Timothy, and I don't mess up your last name, so I just said Brother Timothy. Malawson says, because this generation forgot how hard our grandparents worked for their houses, and this next older generation got fooled by the banks. The banks bigger is better. So the reason why I brought up, and I read 3, but to relate to connect Timothy and Douglas Guidry's 2 comments is the point that we stand up and fight against what they said is that they want to ban books. They want to ban Black history. They want to ban this. If they cut the bridge, you see what happened with, unfortunately, and I'm not using this, but this is a reality. Once they cut that bridge, and unfortunately that accident in Baltimore, the bridge collapsed, nothing could go over. You see, they were stuck. And when you cut our information flow, there's no connection to the past to understand the present and how to move towards the future. So that's why we have to stand up and we have to fight for these things and fight for these rights at the end of the day, moving forward, to make sure that our story is always told. Always told. That's it. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. And it's amazing that we utilize the tools out here. Like I said, Brother Ernest Crims III. Ernest Crims III was told that, look, I can't do Black history in my school. So he used TikTok. He used social media to teach Black history. You understand? And that's what he does. And now he reaches not only the kids in his school, he reaches kids across the globe, because social media is just not stuck in the United States. He reaches people across the globe. You understand? Unless there's a ban there. So I'm just trying to show you folks that this is so important, but it's the same thing with music. It's the same thing. You dumb down the community when you don't give them information, or you give them irrelevant information, or you give them trivia information. That's what you understand? Everybody talking about Diddy. Yeah, it's a conversation. I understand it's a conversation. But do we put the same type of energy in the things that affect us, that are important to us, that we need to go out there and be involved in? And that's the bottom line, and that's the problem. And we sometimes don't understand that. Those that do understand, they do it. And I applaud you in the comments that go out there and do that. But those that we can't reach, we got to reach those. When right. We are preaching to the choir, we got to take it from us to them. That's what we have to do.
Right. And you know, Brother Fatim is so correct. And let me say something from yesterday. And I want to bring that back together in conjunction with what Brother Fatim said and some of the comments I am seeing in the chat. Listen, family, we've got to tell the whole story. And many a times when we tell the story, we leave out very important pieces. Yesterday, Brother Guidry brought up something in a conversation that was beautiful. He said, don't we have a lot of Black mayors? Don't we have a lot of Black CEOs? Don't we have a lot of Black people in high places? We do. But these Black folks, the part of the puzzle that is normally left out is these Black folks have taken over systems that for decades, if not hundreds of years, have been ran by and controlled by non-Blacks. And sometimes the only reason Black folks even got in there is because all the resources that could even be taken from this situation have been taken. And they literally felt like, oh, we're just giving them nothing anyway. Let see, hold on. Let me bring all my people in. we have been programmed to be more caught up in a title than caught up in our purpose. See, you rather have the title CEO, boss, chief, whatever title it is they want to give you, instead of you saying, I'd rather have no title at all and be in my place of purpose. And we have to understand that many a times these systems that we wind up taking over later, they were only given to us because folk who thinking a lot further than us said, we done did everything with that anyway. They can't do nothing with it. And many a times we prove them wrong. We take lemons, and instead of us making lemonade, we come back with a lemonade factory. And then what do they want to do? Legislate it. Oh, wait a minute. We didn't plan on them doing that. Let's legislate this thing, because they wasn't supposed to do that. And that's where, family, we need to wake up and understand that the oppressor is always oppressing.
That's
Let
right.
me just say this, Jackson, then I'm gonna throw it to you. And let me just shout this out to one of my childhood friends, Harold Jenkins, who's on here. When I say childhood friend, I'm talking about Rutland Road between Flatbush and Bedford in Brooklyn. We played stoop ball in front of his house.
Mhm.
We went to the same high school, George Westinghouse, downtown Brooklyn. We played Bonnie baseball, that's Sandlot baseball. And he says policies give a determined action, reaction, masses and matrix. Rhonda Hairston says, agree, New York City is changing the curriculum for students in that regard. And let me just say this to Jackson and keep us all up here, and Brother Joe and to our listening audience. Let me talk this to a couple of people, because people don't understand this. Some people think when they hear my voice or they hear that I, produce Reverend Sharp, then, they may think, yeah, I am a radical brother, but I'm one of the middle of the road brothers. Remember when I told you that I merged Richie Cunningham from Happy Days and Fonzie, and I merged that? Well, I did that in life. I went to college. I was on the dean's list. I studied electrical engineering technology. I was offered a job by Bell Labs, who now is Lucent Technologies. You understand? So I wind up working for Billboard magazine, one of the top music magazines and companies that deals with music. I worked for Billboard magazine, then I became a data center operator. So I come out of corporate America. I worked for Citibank. I worked for the Bank of New York. I worked in the World Trade Center. I worked for some of the top banks in New York City. So I understand. I'm talking to the people who don't think that I went in corporate America and I didn't walk in there every day with some dashiki on or kufi on all the time. Oh, I did wear a kufi now. Don't think I didn't do that. But what I'm saying is I went in corporate America and I excelled. I understand that I had to work with different people, black and white and this, that, and other. I just didn't scratch where it didn't itch. But I understood that in corporate America, you wanted to progress and you wanted to move forward. By doing all of that, I just didn't lose my identity. I understand. Sometimes I think folks that are out there think that when they hear us, a lot of us didn't travel that road. I traveled that road. I come out of Wall Street. I come out of Midtown Manhattan working in those high-rise buildings. I said the World Trade Center. I worked in the MTV building. I worked with some people that you have heard of. I come out of corporate America. But what I'm saying is I never lost my identity. And a lot of us can go in this world and be who we are and be successful without losing our identity and selling out. I called out those people that sell out because they feel once you get in that world, you have to sell out to get where you need to go. And I never did. And I rose the ladder. Mm-hmm. I had to chuck off some people on the way. I didn't bite my tongue, but I was also smart. Sometimes I didn't lash out because lashing out wasn't the best thing at that particular time. I had to be strategic. You always hear that statement. We need to play chess, not checkers. So I learned that in the game, but I have to say that to y'all because I don't want y'all to think that I come out of the street just in the movement, because I was there. I was in corporate America 9 to 5, and I was in the street protesting in the afternoon or on the weekend. So I balanced the both. I just never lost who I was and my identity, and never forgot that I was a black man in America still dealing with systemic racism. I just want folks to know that, because sometimes people think we don't understand that other side, and that you gotta play along to get along, and I just didn't have to do that.
That's right. And I love that, Brother Patine. And that's so true. I remember when I was younger, I always wanted locks. I was always power to the people. You know, my dorm room, I had Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, you know, Martin Luther King. Like I was all into it since as long as I can remember. And I always wanted locks. And my mom would always say, no, you don't need locks because it's not professional. And, just things of that nature, like back in the day. That's how a lot of our parents thought. But for me, I didn't care because I knew at some point I would be an entrepreneur and that would be my path. But I still really didn't care what other people thought. I know that's what I wanted. However, I still respected my mom. I didn't get locks until I was just now like 46 going on 47 when I got my locks. And like you said, you still have to be confident in who you are and comfortable. And you don't have to, even in scripture, it says, envieth not thine oppressor. Right. So we have to understand that. Even you mentioned, Brother Fatine, before about blonde hair, about leprosy and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So that is so true. We walk around sometimes. We know our oppressors many times want to look like us and emulate us with the lips and the bodies and the, booties and everything else. But also, do we want to envy our oppressors and walk around with the long blonde hair, down to the back of our feet and, all this extraness? We have to be comfortable in who we are. If we want to rock an afro, because that's how our hair grows, rock your fro. Go into that corporate meeting with your fro and be proud of who you are. It's funny, my son teases me sometimes. He's like, Mom, you walk around here like the Queen of Zimbabwe. And he gets embarrassed sometimes. But I'm like, it is what it is. I'm proud of who I am and what I do and how I move. And it is what it is. But I still know when to tone it down, and I still know when I can kick it back up. But we have to still fight for whatever it is we believe in. And we don't have to cross over and be that sellout. We have to honestly keep it real. We always talk about in our community, keep it real, keep it real. But are we really keeping it real? Are we really keeping it real? And what does keeping it real? Who are you being real to? You got to be real to the Most High, if that's what you believe, and be true to yourself. And don't give a damn what anybody else thinks, as long as you are doing the right thing and not trying to hurt others, but try to help others. That's what it's about.
I see.
Let's go to the phone lines right quick. Somebody is on the phone. Caller, you on the phone. Give us a question or a comment and let us know who you are and where you're calling from. Caller, are you there? Are you there? Hold on. Caller, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Timothy.
I want to start with what Brother Patine was talking about. I went to prison. When I come back from prison, man, and I went to technical college for computer tech. Grade point average 3.73. So don't in this Timothy Malone song, don't let me be an ace drug dealer. And my nephew ended up getting killed, and I put that back and I started to cooking for the kids. But I went from prison to college and made a 3.73 average, bro. We can't look at our past situation and let that determine our future. Just like what Sister Jack was saying about our houses. This old
phone is breaking up.
Yeah.
About the whole issue. How hard our grandmothers and grandfathers worked for their houses just to let it become sitting down and just go and understand that we want bigger and better things, but we can't forget to keep it alive for our generations, bro. And what you talked about, Mr. Joe, about the titles. Everybody want a title, bro. If a title if a title is not on land, it is worth shit. Being a boss to not running your own corporation is really nothing, because you're gonna get pennies on a dollar. I'm just saying we can't base our life on a title that's a job that if you die today, it's gonna replace you tomorrow. So we gotta think about all our past, our past generations, our grandmothers. Everything that we learned from our grandmothers, the houses that we all lived in and slept in together as a family, bro, as cousins. So now that we slept together in the old houses, we don't even talk today in the big houses. I'm just saying, we got to remember our past to where we're going, bro. We just got it. I just wanted to tie into all what y'all were saying,
We appreciate your call, Brother Timothy. Keep
Timothy.
family. If you want to jump in and give a call like Brother Timothy, all you got to do is give us a call, 225-250-8770, 225-250-8770. It is 5 minutes. Oh my God. 5 minutes to the top of the hour. And
But guess
welcome,
who's
family, to
back?
hashtag Truth Be Told. And I need, who's back?
Eddie Bonnet.
Who's back?
Okay.
Eddie Bonnet is back.
Okay. Well, before I go to Eddie, let me do what I need to do today. And I need to start doing it more often because we've got to. I need all of our listeners, our followers, and everybody who does anything with this show's help. We need to get our numbers up. And what I need you to do is go to our YouTube channel at 100 BLK Media and follow us. Follow us at 100 BLK Media on YouTube and on Facebook and Instagram. Follow us at the JDMS. We're right now broadcasting on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And also follow our individual pages. My page, Sister Jack's page, Brother Fatim's page. We're going to put that all in the feed. We're going to put it in the feed. We need your help. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Share this with a friend because we want to continue to grow, to build, and to learn, and to be here for you, not only today, but for many years to come. So we're beginning to build something that we want to continue to do for years. And look at y'all and look at us, and we all work together to grow together, to learn together, and to build together because we can save our own communities. We don't need somebody else to save it for us. Go ahead, Brother Fatim.
So Eddie Bonnet puts our people have to get back to a moral position because majority of the times we become leaders in these positions. It contaminates, which when it happens, we are the ones that get the brunt of the criticism. Examples, Obama killing Gaddafi or Kilpatrick in Detroit. So I think it plays right into what Joe says, that statement is, your statement is cool. Your examples, it can go so many different ways, but I do understand what you're saying, that titles, and we talked about power, that power can corrupt, I'm not taking up for Obama on this situation. I just think that's a little different with the Gaddafi situation on that as a president. But when you put up former Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick, that's a better example to me because that is showing that you are not making a political move by doing the things that you did inside City Hall. You understand? And I got a chance to communicate with Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick. There's no excuse for what he did. It's amazing. If I'm not mistaken, Trump pardoned him. If I'm not mistaken, Donald Trump.
He did.
Trump he pardoned him.
He did.
And but I think what Kwame did, I think the punishment was too severe. I do agree with that. And him getting pardoned, it is what it is. I'm not going at the pardon per se, but I'm just saying that a lot of times we get into these positions of power, and Jax talked about it yesterday. If you're not disciplined, you just don't know what comes at you. And you got to realize that a lot of us that make certain positions, we have a past. We have a past. So when we get into powerful positions, we have to be responsible and accountable. That don't mean as a politician, if you are, I'm talking about corrupt. If you're doing corruption, sometimes as a politician, you make a bad decision, or you get into that fork of the road and you got to go left or right, and you may go right because you think this is better for the people, but it didn't work out. That's a decision, and you have to be honest with the people. Let the people know how you got to that decision, why you made that decision. And if you was wrong about this decision, you try to right that decision. But when you become corrupt, that's another thing. And when we talk about absolute power, absolutely corrupts. You understand? Money, I'm telling you, money, when people get that money and fame, you feel powerful. You are able to do things. You're able to associate with people and that you've never associated with, number one. And then number two, people tend to look up to you. They tend to follow you until you ain't got that money no more. And then you need them. They done scatter and gone. So you become the sucker. So you gotta always understand that when you get in a powerful position, you got to be accountable accountable. Because on the flip side, I can use President Obama and his family. They were president. He was the president, and his family lived in that Oval Office for 8 years, 2 terms, and they were powerful. But if you notice, Michelle and those kids and that mother-in-law, they move humbly. You understand? They move humbly. You didn't see them breaking the circuits with these news articles and things like that. So when you get in these positions, and I commend President Obama, I commend that man, the way him and his family move. We could always criticize something, but overall, he was a stand-up person. And if I have to use an example of a family, I don't have a problem using the Obamas as an example.
So let me say this, Brother Fatim, because now I'm going to go somewhere where I can go. I see people as they begin to put things in the chat. And like, for example, talking about Libya. Family, let's be real about this. Once again, the tactics of certain individuals are to spotlight certain things. In other words, let me show you what's going on over here. Wizard of Oz type stuff. Watch all the pretty colors, but don't pay no attention behind the man behind the veil. President, not Obama, but former President Obama also is the man that brought justice to Osama bin Laden. When it comes down to destabilization of countries, there is a list of countries that the United States of America under Bush, under Johnson, under Clinton, under Trump, were destabilized. Period.
That's what America does.
Hold it. It's not, and understand, the president is a representation of the electorate of the people who elected him in the office through the electoral college and the popular vote. So if we're gonna talk, let's talk correctly. Don't make me have to give a civics lesson up in here, because some of y'all talk is reckless, and that talk sounds like that talk that make people go, "Ooh, you right? You know, he was a bad man. Look at what he did to Libya." Well, hold on. Let's talk about a whole bunch of countries that got destabilized, and let's see who was sitting in the presidency when they got destabilized. And you'll come to find out, all you can throw out in certain situations are words that I call them catchphrase words. Libya, Benghazi. You can say these words, but I ask myself this, and especially to my brothers who have served. No matter what your level of service was, be it enlisted or an officer, we didn't swear an oath to a president. We swore an oath to a constitution and to a people. Now, if I'm wrong, correct me. But if I'm right, I just want to know who peed in y'all Cheerios. Who peed in y'all Cheerios? Because some of y'all, and I get it, especially with my evangelical folks. Y'all really don't know. I get it more than you think I know. I know what's going on. Let me tell you something. I always said this because of scripture. I say this because of scripture. And many times y'all just want the scriptures to exonerate y'all and pat y'all on the back. But it does say in scripture, be careful. Be careful. The devil may show up and tell you he is the second coming of the Christ. Mm-hmm. But because you are so lost in not knowing what the words say, you believe them. And you start going giving out propaganda that is really the devil's propaganda, and swear to God that the propaganda you giving is from the utmost high. Mm-hmm. Man, we got to be careful out here what we say to our brothers and sisters. And we need to, as Paul Harvey used to say, we need to tell the rest of the story. Brother,
that's why I said what I said, and me and Joe agree to disagree. That's why I said America's not great, because of the tactics that we use and continue to use. It doesn't matter who is at the head of the helm of the president of the United States at the particular time. The reason why I like Bill Clinton. I met Bill Clinton some years ago, and I liked him as a president. You know, a lot of people want to call him our first black president because he got on Arsenio Hall and played the saxophone and played on some damn shades. You know, see, that's how stupid we are. We just how stupid we are. But anyway, so I was in Khartoum, Sudan, back in 2007, and one of the places we went to was a pharmaceutical company that Bill Clinton ordered a missile strike from the Mediterranean Sea. Why did he order that missile strike? He ordered that missile strike saying that Osama bin Laden had weapons of mass destruction at this pharmaceutical. But you know why he did that? Because that strike was on the same day that an impeachment came down on him dealing with the Monica Lewinsky situation.
Wow.
Okay? See, you got to connect the dots.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Joe is trying to say. That's why I go back, and me and Joe just have to agree to disagree. That's what I'm trying to say. America's going to put the best policy in place to benefit them. Destabilizing Libya, America realizes they messed up on that one. Destabilizing and killing Gaddafi, where Gaddafi was an ally at one time. That's amazing. The Shah of Iran was an ally at one time. Don't y'all see the connect the dots? Don't y'all realize that a lot of people, Osama bin Laden, I said yesterday or the other day, was an ally of America? After America uses them or utilizes them, then they throw them out to dry and then they become enemies. And if they need to destroy them, they destroy them. You know why? Because they know the secrets of America. So they can't let those secrets come out. And when they put them out, that's why I don't watch I watch cable news, but I also watch news outside of the country. So I want to find out things about outside of the country.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? I watch those kind of media outlets because if I have to live up to some of the propaganda that is put out, just like in Russia has propaganda, America has propaganda as well. See, that's the whole thing. Mm-hmm. I'm here. I'm not bitching and moaning like I want to leave. But what I'm saying is I can tell the truth about my country, just like I can tell the truth about my parents. You understand what I'm saying? So don't get on me because, I'm unpatriotic. It's not about being patriotic. It's just that the bull crap that America tends to give. That's why I said to Joe, and I ain't gonna use his term 10 toes down. I just stand where I'm at. America cannot be great because of the shit that they have done. I try to not use profanity this morning, but hell with it. It's going out the window right now. The shit that America has done to so many folks and destabilized countries of color across this globe is an atrocity.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, they're going to reap what they sow. And unfortunately, a lot of us good people in here are going to go down with it as well. Unfortunately.
That's right. And it's funny when you were talking about America and the things that we've done as a country, especially oppressing so many people. The thing that popped up in my head was pimps up, hoes down for some reason, right? So it's like America is the great pimp and the great whore. They will exploit whoever they can exploit. They don't care. Of course, like you said, Brother Fatin, we don't necessarily know right now where else we would go because we were born and raised here. But although we were born and raised here, it doesn't mean that this is the best place on earth for the most part. But a lot of people do, of course, they try to get to America. But it's still, America is a very wicked, wicked place. The whole foundation of it is just wicked. And when you think about, even when you tie it back to scripture, how the devil, roams the earth like a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour, right? That is his job, to try to destroy us. So when the devil sees somebody with great potential, and like you were talking about before with P. Diddy and some of the other celebrities, and they start chasing money. And when they start chasing money and when they start chasing power, that's when they all come crumbling down, because the devil knows exactly what we like. He knows our strengths and he knows our weaknesses, and he is going to try to exploit our weaknesses by any means necessary. So when he sees us doing good works, he doesn't want that to happen. When he sees us being able to help to change lives of others, he doesn't want that to happen, because he wants us to remain impoverished and angry. He wants us to be depressed. God doesn't, put a spirit of depression on us. He doesn't want us to be depressed. It's okay to get down, but we should never stay down, right? So when we start having that spirit of depression, that spirit of anger, that spirit of lasciviousness and gluttony and greed, we have to understand that we have to stand up and do better and not fall into the hands of the wiles of the devil, because that is what is ruling America. And we definitely have to recognize it. We got to recognize the devil before he comes, before he knocks on our door or slides through the window. We have to recognize that he's coming,
And so we have to be prepared by any means necessary.
Joe, let me just read this real quick. According to the findings, because we talked about it, because Joe came at me the other day. When I say he came at me, it's cool. It's no problem. It's fine. I tell my team. But what's a better country? Joe asked that question. I'll give you 1, 2, 3. Some places that are better than America that has been rated. Denmark, Sweden,
Norway,
Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. Those are places. Okay. Some of these places got health care for all. Yeah. Their quality of living is better. So don't think that America is the best. It's not the worst, but it ain't always the best. That's why I said that at the end of the day, but I didn't want to belabor that. I just want to prove that, and this is a survey from March 18th this year. This was a couple of weeks ago, and 30 best countries to live in the world. America's definitely not at the top.
Okay, so let me say this. One thing, there's a few things I want to say.
I know you do.
And to Jax. No. I mean, I just want to come up and say the truth. And that's what it's about. Telling the truth does not make you unpatriotic. It just means you told the truth.
Right.
America is not the only wicked country on this planet. This whole world is wicked. So let me clarify some things, because we say this and then I'm the one, and sometimes they are too. We get these little responses. Oh, y'all don't like America. No, I don't like the world. I think the world could do better, because out of all those great countries that he just named that are statistically ranked better than America, why don't they join together and make a pact and solve the problem of world poverty? Because it can be solved. Understand, here's what I really want to talk to y'all about. Ask y'all this. Who is profiting off your poverty, your pain, and your problems? Wait for 1 minute. Can we take a moment of silence? And everybody who's on this podcast, in the feed, listening, be it that you're giving us credit or not, ask yourself this one simple question. Who profits? Who makes the money off your pain, your problems, and your poverty? And why won't they fix it? Okay, floor is yours.
I want to read what Douglas Guidry says. He says, I often enjoy Minister Farrakhan putting Mike Wallace in his place about America being a moral compass. If anybody saw that interview with 60 Minutes with Mike Wallace and Minister Farrakhan, it was a very tense interview, but a very good interview. Mike Wallace is a journalist, and a damn good one. He was a damn good journalist. And he pressed Minister Farrakhan, but Minister Farrakhan came back and he answered those questions. And he came in and he talked about America. And he said, how do you look at America being a moral compass with all the crap that is done around the world? Mike Wallace had to back up. But out of that, a friendship struck. A friendship struck. And you know why a friendship struck? Because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan respected Mike Wallace as a journalist, but Mike Wallace also respected the Honorable Minister Farrakhan's candidness and truthfulness. And that's not easy, being a black man in America. So again, you got to stand on principle. You have to stand on principle. Like I supposed to have the mayor of New York City on my show this coming Sunday morning. They got back to me and said 30 minutes. No. Me and the mayor talked about that. You did 30 minutes before. You got to give the people, you got to respect our people more than that. You gave the Breakfast Club on another station 45 minutes. You didn't take no calls. You got to come talk to me, my co-host, and then you got to take call. 30 minutes is not enough. If I have to tell you no, I have to tell you no, because you're not going to disrespect us. And I'm cool with the mayor. That's my man. I'll say that, but I can't let you disrespect us, and I can't let you disrespect our audience. You come back when you can give them the time. I can't allow that. We had this conversation, so I'm waiting for them to get back to me. But I got to stand on principle. I like the brother, but that doesn't mean I can't ask challenging questions. There's questions that need to be asked, but asked in a respectful and a responsible way. but I will not shy away from that. But I also will not beat them up. Let's talk about some of the good things that you have done. Let's balance the conversation. But I'm going to do my job as a journalist. That's my job.
That's right. That's right. And you know, Brother Fatim, to shift gears a bit, and it's still tied in with what you were saying.
Okay, please.
I heard on the radio this morning, right? Chad Okosinko was doing an interview. And so he was saying, it's hard to find success when you don't have kids with the right people. So that's deep, right? That's deep. And it's so true. So tell me, what do you think about that? And
did he elaborate on that before I comment on that? Did he say a little bit more?
No, he didn't get too much into it, but he was, just talking about family and how he hustles and works hard, and how he owns 3 McDonald's franchises, and he used to be all into cars and Lamborghinis and all of that stuff, but then he realizes it's about much more than that. So he was saying how he didn't really spend his football money. He just was saving that up and investing that, but he was taking his other money, from owning the franchises and different businesses to, live off of, survive and reinvest in things of that nature. So he's saying it's hard to find success when you have kids with the wrong people. So
and repeat that again so our folks can hear that again one more time.
It's hard to find success when you don't have kids with the right people.
Okay, so success, I agree with him. I agree with him. It's hard. He didn't say you can't find success. You got to listen, because some people say, well, no, you can't. He didn't say you can't find success. He said it's hard to find success, because when you out there trying to work to become successful, and you doing it as a unit, as you're doing it as a husband and as a father, there is a, how can I say this? There is in play motion of energy moving in a direction. If you have a wife that's moving in another negative direction or a different agenda that doesn't complement the direction that you guys had planned to move in, if your children are being raised not the way that you said that you all were going to raise them, it pulls and it takes away, because you're fighting a war out in the world to become successful. At the same time, when you come home, you're fighting an internal war in the house. So when you have the right, the mother of your children, that the correct mother of your children, then you're all basically operating in the same book and on the same page moving forward. So again, I say that I want to hear what you have to say, because you use as an example of you and your husband basically being on the same page, working together. And one of your concerns was the past, without going into your business, is that your past relationship, you wasn't on the same page. So it did come into play. There was obstacles in the way for you to move forward as being the main person that are taking care of your children. And that proves that point. But I want to hear what you have to say and hear what the folks have to say in
you know what? I really believe what Ocho Cinco says on that, right? So it's harder to achieve success now. Even in my past relationship, in my past marriage, things were challenging. We started out at one point trying to do some business together and coaching people and helping people out. But then I think sometimes his arrogance and his wickedness sometimes kind of led him astray the opposite direction. And then it got to the point that the more I was out in the community doing stuff, the more accolades and recognition I was getting for the work that I was doing in the community. On the back end, people would always say, I think he's jealous of you doing what you do, and you're growing and you're helping so many people. And I never like to use the word. I never want to say, oh, somebody's jealous of me, because I think that's so catty and so petty. So you won't hear that come out of my mouth. But that was what some other people were saying. So I did start to notice that whenever I would have a big event or a speaking engagement, there would always be some trouble going on, brewing around it. Or I would leave to go to an event and he would say, oh, I'm sick, or I'm going to stay home with the kids. And then he would stay home with the kids. I would always invite him to be a part of my world. But many times he would decline. 9 times out of 10, he would decline. He would leave the house after I left the house. And my kids would call, "Mommy, daddy left." And he wouldn't come back until hours, like right before I walked in the door. Then he would come back and hurry up and hop in the bed like he was there the whole time, right? So, but my kids would always, let me know what was up. So he would take that time when I was out building for our family, doing what I needed to do for our family in the community. He would take that time to be out sleeping around and doing all other type of stuff that he shouldn't have been doing, right? So now my husband, by the grace of God, God put us together. When we have events, sometimes in the back of my mind, I wonder, is something crazy about to go down? But it doesn't. And whenever I have an event, I know my husband, will be at work. But before you know it, I'll turn my head and he's popping up out of nowhere. He always finds a way to be supportive and have my back. And when I'm preparing for a workshop or a speech, he's right there along with me, giving me advice, giving me suggestions. And it's a beautiful thing to work together towards a common goal with somebody that you love and somebody that has become your best friend and your soulmate and your spouse. It's a beautiful thing when you do have that support and you guys are on the same page. Now, you can still have that support and your husband be in a totally different field. It's just ironic that my husband and I both get paid to speak for a living, but he's also a police officer building the community. And I'm helping to build my community, but building the minds as a life coach and therapist and, art therapist and all that kind of stuff. So it's just a beautiful thing to be on the same page, and it helps success come a little bit easier, and it helps you to be able to enjoy it. And for us, it's not even all about the money. It's about getting the job done. If you see a need, you got to fill it. And that's what it's all about. So
this is interesting. And let me just go here and this is interesting. Mashawn Baines has a lot to say. Black men, no snow bunnies, right? Then she comes back. Rhonda says, that is deep, Jackie Harrison. While I don't know him personally, I agree with him. I guess this is coming from some other comments, but let's talk about, Michael Keith says, some success sometimes has enemies. Mashawn Baines comes back. I can talk about that, what you was talking about. Yep. She said, Mashawn Baines comes back. Now there is 3 sides to the story. She comes back. Mashawn, I guess Mashawn is if I'm trying to see if Mashawn is a male or female. Punani over power. I'm not going to say that word. That's an issue on Black men. Very important to have a person with your best interest in mind. So let's talk about it, because I talk about this a lot. But there ain't no way in hell I'm gonna have this conversation. I get on us brothers that do the wrong thing because I'm a Black man. So I have to say us, because I never take myself out of that because I'm a Black man. I understand what sometimes we do, but ain't no way in hell that we gonna look at that the destruction of relationships is just all Black men's fault. Because if that's what you think, that you're one fool. You're one fool. I just happened to, but before I went to sleep last night, I came across a TikTok on Minister Honorable.
This whole building is shaking right now.
I see that. I got an earthquake in Newark?
I know. I'm in Plainfield right now, but the whole building is shaking.
I just saw that. It seems like it calmed down right now.
Yeah, it's calming down. Oh my God.
Wow, we're gonna check to see what happened in Plainfield.
Everybody's running out of the offices.
Gotta be safe. You gotta be safe. Sorry. So watch yourself. If that happened again, well, your husband is there, right?
Yeah, he's here. I see the police in the hallway. People are running out of their office building.
You may need to get out your office too.
Just
do that and come back.
Come back. Check. So my point is, with Joe being back, my point is that, and I saw this a woman the other day, and she was talking about Diddy. I'll come right back to this, Mashawn, that they were saying that, Diddy might have alleged done some things, but a lot of people don't take accountability and responsibility that they went along with it, unless they were forced into it, gunpoint or something like that. So the point I'm trying to say is we all have to be accountable for our actions. Us men have to do a better job, and our women have to do a better job. And they were talking about As a matter of fact, it was not only Minister Farrakhan, it was the other minister. I can't call his name, but he's
hold on. In the chat, and the reason I wanted to hold on, it must be something really happening because there are other folks in the chat say they're shaking too.
Shaking here in Westchester as well. Yeah, so there's something going on in the East Coast.
So family, let us try to, and we're going to stay right here. But I hated to disturb you like that when folk in the chat who are miles away from New Jersey are saying the same thing. Wow, somebody said, "Damn, we just had an earthquake."
Yeah, I think they just did.
So family, let us always and look. You never know what can happen, and wow, and it's funny because I was going to talk about that next week. That how in the Bible it always says that when God was stirring up some stuff on the earth, you always saw an earthquake happen. Like when the Messiah himself transitioned, how the veil was torn and a major earthquake hit the land. But wow, that let us stay in prayer and keep our eyes on what's going on in the news. Right now, it is 26 minutes past the hour. Brother Fatim, the floor is back to you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just think that go back to what we were talking about with relationships. It's easy for us to blame women or whatever. I think we both have responsibility, and that's why I'm honest about certain things. That's why I'm honest about transparency. I keep telling folks, a lot of people say, I don't want people to know. I don't want to know what my man is doing, or he ain't cheating. He ain't cheating, and he wouldn't do that. And I said, wouldn't you? Let me just see. Hold on. Some people in my chat just said, yeah. New York and Jersey just had an earthquake. Yep. My folks in Jersey and New York just said.
So we're going to break away from what we're talking about right now to talk to those out there who are listening and those who are a part of what we do.
Yeah, Joe, take me out for a minute. Let me see if I can get somebody on real quick. Take me out for a minute. I'll mute my mic.
No problem. We're getting ready to try to bring in some breaking news. The earthquake has now been reported, and we have a lot of people because Brother Fatim, of course, works at 107.5 WBLS in New York City, has worked at Hot 90, Hot 97, 90, well, Hot 95, 90, Hot something. I'm just all over the place right now. Listen, family, and Sister Jackson's coming back. Hold on. So we might have our actual own scene. So Sister Jackson, what's going on?
It was an earthquake.
Okay.
It was an earthquake. So everybody's outside. They said they heard it. They felt it in a bunch of different towns. So right now I'm in Plainfield, New Jersey, but everybody is standing outside now.
Okay.
So you guys saw me live in the midst of a damn earthquake. And in Jersey, we don't have earthquakes like that, but.
Right. Right. So Jax, what is the mood there? Let me ask you that. I see a lot of people outside. Are people nervous, scared, or what's the mood?
People are nervous. People are talking to a bunch of other people, saying all the different towns in the area, neighboring towns, experienced, BJ's was shaking in the library. Everybody was running out and panicked. But it for sure was an earthquake. That entire room that I was in, the building was shaking. You felt it swaying back and forth.
Yeah, I saw. We saw how your camera was going back and forth. So we're glad that we have you on the scene.
Yes.
I know we got Brother Fatim trying to check with folks right now in the tri-state area to see what's going on. We're going to keep it right here. We're going to keep it right here. We send our prayers to the tri-state area, to New Jersey and the surrounding areas that were affected by this. Seems to be earthquake. We don't know what magnitude it was, but we could see on our feed with you doing the podcast that your room was shaking, was actually shaking.
So I'll check back in with you guys. I don't want to disrupt the entire show, but everybody just be careful.
All right, come back. We definitely want you to come back. It is 30 minutes past the hour. Our very own Jax is just went through the middle of a
Joe, I'm back.
And Brother Fatim is back. Brother Fatima
I'm
is
back.
Yes,
So I don't need Sister Jax
Yes.
is Jax. Everybody's reporting it the same way. So Sister Jax is right on the scene, basically, of it. So Harlem, New York, some people upstate New York. So this is definitely a tremor. I just don't know where the epicenter is at right now because Jersey felt it. Harlem, down 125th Street is a major fault line in Harlem.
Yeah.
I definitely know that. We just got to wait for them to find out where this is at. My daughter is in Queens in college, in York College. She felt the shaking. My other daughter
Wow.
is outside. She didn't feel it, but other people around her in the street felt it.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Look, y'all. We got to get our
It's in
souls right.
Pennsylvania too.
Wow. PA too. Wow.
Yeah, this is yeah. And the problem is there's going to be aftershocks after that. How strong? It may not be strong.
Right, and that's why we want you to really be careful because with every earthquake does come aftershocks. And Jax, we want you, your family, your husband, check on your loved ones, check on your loved ones' family, check on your loved ones, check on your loved ones. I see a husband right there, and check on your loved ones. Hey, Officer Harrison, how you doing, sir?
Everything's good. It's good. Yeah, we had to get the kids out and everybody as a precaution. You know, it was a good like 4 to 5 seconds. It felt like the whole entire length of the library was shaking. It was
bad.
intense. Yeah, it was intense.
Okay. Well, look, both of y'all be safe. Jax, we'll bring you back. Brother Fatim just muted, so he must be getting some information.
I'm calling the mayor's office in New York City.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
one kid was losing in Connect 4, so he got lucky.
You own him, Officer Harrison. You own him.
I think he prayed on it, but hey.
All right, guys, you be safe and take it easy.
All right.
I'll
We'll
talk
bring
to you
you
soon.
back if we need to. We'll bring you back if we need to. All right, family. Listen, so breaking news right here on hashtag Truth Be Told. Breaking news. There has been an earthquake. We do not know at what magnitude the earthquake is, but it has affected the tri-state area. There has been tremors felt in Pennsylvania, in New York, and in New Jersey. If you have family or loved ones in that area, you may want to check on them. We infer that you check on them. We pray right now, God's grace, that there has been no injuries. Of course, be careful. Aftershocks may be imminent and may be coming. We don't have all the information, but we, in the midst of us doing this podcast, witnessed it. The actual earthquake that occurred, because our co-host, Sister Jax, was there, actually broadcasting and she's in Plainville, right? Plainville, New Jersey.
Yeah, she was in Plainfield, New Jersey, and we saw the building shake. We saw the building shake.
We saw it. We actually saw it. So prayers go out to any and everyone who has been affected by this earthquake that just occurred not too very long ago.
Okay, so what I'm trying to get. Let me see if I can get this young lady to come on. Right now, they're saying a 4.8 magnitude. That's a strong earthquake.
A 4.8
New York City
magnitude is being reported.
Yep. Let me just.
Okay. So Brother Fatim is trying to bring some people on. Listen, family, it is times like this. Tell a friend to tell a friend, share this with a friend. If you are in the tri-state area, be careful. Be careful. If you are inside a building and that building is not stable, get out that building immediately. Get out in the open, get away from areas that may cause harm, because as you know, earthquakes can make buildings collapse. So if you are in a structure that may not be sturdy, because there are older structures and things of that nature, you may need to get out right now. Get out and get in the street, in the open, and be careful, be safe. Brother Fatim is right now trying to contact some folks. It is 34 minutes past the hour. 34 minutes past the hour on hashtag Truth Be Told. And today we are seeing a hard truth of how things can happen just like that. We pray
I'm back, Joe.
God's grace. Okay, Brother Fatim is back. I'm bringing him back in. What's going on, Brother Fatim?
So I'm getting one of my co-hosts from my show to come on. She's the one that gave me the info about it being 4.8 on, 4.8. This just happened. We saw that this just happened. So it's just information that is breaking out. I did reach the mayor's office, but he didn't respond. So let me get, this is information that is coming out right now. This is amazing, coming off of what happened in Taiwan. We talk about these signs, right? And we haven't even gotten to the point about the eclipse coming Monday. You understand what I'm saying? We haven't even talked about the eclipse coming Monday. So
perfect example. KC said it best. Perfect example. Perfect example. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And we're once again, this is why we do what we do at hashtag Truth Be Told, and we stay consistent. We're on every Monday through Friday for 2 hours, 8 o'clock to 10 a.m. Central Time, 9 o'clock to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And we were right now in the middle of a broadcast of one of our live podcasts, and one of our co-hosts, Sister Jax, experienced in Plainfield, New Jersey. You saw the earthquake while it was actually happening, how the building began to shake. And thank God that people got evacuated. Thank God that there was no major damage, as it appeared there at the library that she was at in Plainfield, New Jersey. However, has been reported by multiple news outlets that a 4.8 earthquake has hit the tri-state area. Now, we do not know where the epicenter is at, but do know, and we do have someone coming on. So let's bring in our correspondent. They're in New York. How are you doing? Give us the information.
Yeah, let me just
what's going on.
Let me introduce her properly here. So Sabrina Lamb, she's one of my WBLS Open Line online contributors. She's a best-selling author and the founder, CEO of Wakeza.com, which is an investment trading app. She has also established worldofmoney.org, the leading financial and entrepreneur education provider for ages 7 through 21 in the United States and 4 African countries. She will be definitely a great guest for us to talk about finance on our broadcast. But I brought Sister Sabrina on because we have a chat with our Open Line online team. It is now being reported by ABC. A 4.8 magnitude earthquake rocked the Northeast this morning. Sister Sabrina, give us an update on what you felt and what you are hearing.
What's happening, family? What's happening? What? Hold it. What's shaking in your neck of the woods?
No, I'm at my desk where I am now, and I'm sitting in my chair, like going like this for a sustained period of time. And the last time I remember that an earthquake happened in New York City, because usually you think it's in other parts of the country, other parts of the world, was maybe a decade ago. And so for it to be 4.8 and being in other parts of the New York City region, not just New York City proper, this was huge. And so now the question is, are there going to be any aftershocks, or is anyone harmed or in danger? But usually it's not the first rumble, it's the aftershock.
Exactly. Now, let me just say to you, Sister Sabrina, we had one of our co-hosts, we call her Sister Jackie Harrison, who was in Plainfield, New Jersey, on with us, and the building started shaking because she's out. So the building started shaking, and her husband, who's a police officer, happened to be at this event. So they evacuated the building. I spoke with my daughter. My daughter's in York College in Queens, in Jamaica, Queens, New York. She felt the shaking. My other daughter is in Springfield Gardens, closer to the Long Island border and Queens border, and she felt it out there. Now, what they're reporting is that the center of this earthquake happened in Lebanon, New Jersey. That's according to the U.S. Geological Survey. Those are the folks that do the earthquake. This is being reported by ABC News at this particular time. So you're right, Sister Sabrina. You're right. It's what comes after. You can have an aftershock as strong or stronger than this original earthquake, coming off the heels of Taiwan's earthquake earlier this week. And we got an eclipse coming Monday.
I'm not leaving the house. And Lebanon, New Jersey is 48 miles from New York City, about an hour away. This is how far reaching this is.
This is, and see, the thing about New York City versus California buildings are built to sustain a certain magnitude of an earthquake. New York City buildings are not built like that.
We're not built like that.
Right.
People, because we never think about earthquakes, because we have selective memory. We don't think about earthquakes. We don't think about hurricanes. We don't think about we don't think about locusts. We don't think about any other calamity that happens in other parts of the country, but it has absolutely happened here.
That's right. And now this rattling, now this
level.
Yeah. Now this earthquake went from where now, because now it's rattling nerves in Philadelphia all the way up to Boston now. This is how this bad boy operated. Now, Sister Sabrina, now I've spoke about this brother Eitan Edwards, about preparedness, and Sister Sabrina knows him. He comes on our show religiously, and we have not gotten him on here as of yet. But this is what we talk about: having those go bags ready to go, that if this happens, you got your papers, you got clothes, you got things that all you got to do is grab your bag and go. You don't have to run back in my birth certificate, my passport. All these things need to be in place. You never know what will happen from a blackout, from a flood. You don't know what kind of calamity may happen that you may have to go, and you can't go back in the home. You can't get back in for a week or 2 weeks or whatever. You have to be better prepared. You need to know where's a meeting spot. My daughters and cousins in New York, we talked about a drill, but right now, if they had to operate a drill today, they would be dumbfounded, because we have not put that in place. We haven't even had the walkie-talkies, the cell phones. People are calling everybody. You can't get through now to some people in New York in those areas because of the traffic. But if you had those walkie-talkies
this morning,
huh?
How many times did you try to reach me this morning?
5 times.
Before you got through?
Yep.
Because I could see it come up, but it would never really connect.
Couldn't connect. I connected with the mayor's office just to get something from the mayor's office, and I didn't hear anything.
Everybody's trying to figure it out. But
yeah, the mayor's office just texted me back and gave her the information that I just gave out.
Sabrina, yes. let's ask this. You're there. When it started happening, what did you think really was going on? What was your first thoughts?
I thought, was there some work being done in our building? Was there some work being done in the building? And so when the shakes, when the vibration happens, you're kind of immobilized, meaning you can move, but you're wondering, what is this? Because it's literally like this. It's literally like this, not jarring, but just like this over a period of time. And so you don't think about really leaving, because I don't know that it's safe to leave in the middle of a hurricane. An earthquake, but because it rarely happens, it happens in New York, but rarely happens, you're thinking, what is this? What is this? And so now, I have a TV on over my desk, and the news media that's headquartered here in New York City, they're out in New Jersey. Nobody's broadcasting from Harlem, where all the Black people are.
they're in Jersey at the epicenter. They headed to the epicenter. Hey, and hold it. And being New Yorkers and understanding, let's go back to 9/11. Anytime something starts shaking like that, I'm pretty sure most New Yorkers immediately say, Lord, let's hope a bomb hasn't dropped somewhere.
That's a great point, Joe. Because we've experienced in New York those evacuation, save yourself type situations. Oh my gosh, 9/11, Hurricane Sandy, where you are just fighting to get back home. People stuck underground, stuck in towers.
we have absolutely experienced that. That's a great point.
And to add to that, when the plane went down in the Rockaways that flew out of JFK, we didn't know if that was a terrorist attack. And at the time, Mayor Giuliani was the mayor. He locked down the city. He locked down the city, meaning nothing could move to and from the bridges or the tunnels. He shut it down. And like I've said, if there's an accident in 3 Miles Island, which is our nuclear power plant upstate in New York, a 90-mile radius, nothing will move outside of that if there is a nuclear accident, because they don't want to contaminate the rest of the country. There are things in place that you don't know. That's why you need to have this information. You need to know where to get this information from. And especially those that are not in New York City, but you got loved ones in New York City, you should be concerned about that. Just like when 9/11 happened and a lot of you was not in New York, but you had loved ones in New York City, you was trying to call. Now we got Sister Jax back live on site in Plainfield, New Jersey, correct, Jax?
Yep, Plainfield, New Jersey. I just went around the corner. I called up to my son's school in Massachusetts. They felt something, but they thought it was just kids running by the window. They said the windows were shaking, but they just thought maybe the kids were outside running by. But so it
Yes,
went
all the way
up there.
from Boston to down to close to Philadelphia. We got the epicenter is in Lebanon, New Jersey, 4.8 on the Richter scale, Sister Jax. Sister Jax, this is Sister Sabrina Lamb, and yeah, y'all know one another. Yeah, there you go. So
Yes, sis.
there you go.
Yes. So
You know what-
how's everything else going?
You know
I'm
who
doing
I'm
well.
worried about? I'm worried about the people, how that's affecting people in the subway.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right, that
I just
part.
spoke to I spoke to my parents, and they're about 30 minutes from here. Two different households because they divorced. But my dad said the shower curtain fell down, the shower rod. My mom and dad were both saying pictures fell off the walls. So I can only imagine what they felt down in the subway.
Wow.
right, exactly.
So I have a question. How far is Plainfield from Lebanon? How far is that?
Mom, do you know how far Plainfield is from Lebanon, New Jersey? Because they said that was the epicenter.
No, Lebanon, I believe, is South Jersey.
I don't
Yeah,
know. My mother-in-law says she believes it's South Jersey. So
yeah, and it's
31 minutes, 25 miles.
25
Okay.
miles. 25 miles. So for this to go all the way up to Boston, close to Massachusetts, is right where you saying Boston felt this all the way down to Philadelphia. This was a strong 4.8. And like I'm saying, we're coming off a 7.8 in Taiwan. 7.8 magnitude in Taiwan. And Sister Jackson, we don't call this coincidence when we do have eclipse, but there's something happening. Me and Joe just talked about it. We feel like something is out here
It's
about
coming.
to make
It's coming.
something's coming.
Yes, it is.
It's coming.
Yeah, we see that the internet has been affected in the past couple of weeks and things like that. Woo.
Yep.
The last time I saw a sci-fi movie and stuff like this was going on, somebody said Godzilla. Speaking of which, hold on. Now, Brother Marcus Allen, who is also another brother who has
Solar lights and everything.
online an
My
online
mother-in-law's like, I'm ready. I
entertainment.
got solar lights and everything. She's ready for it to
Right.
go down.
She ready.
I
But he
got
said something
Sleeping bags.
before the news even broke this. We actually had this on social media, and we actually, and somebody can go back and rewind the tape of this podcast. Jax was actually talking when this began and went through this actual earthquake, this tremor that happened there in Plainfield, New Jersey. So before terrestrial news outlets even was like, this is what we actually was on here. And for those who were viewing us, those who were watching, those who were plugged in, they saw the actual effects of the tremor where Jax was at, because Jax was like, people are running out this building.
25
Yeah.
miles to Lebanon.
Yep.
31
Okay.
minutes by car.
Yep. No, it was crazy. Initially, I thought that it was maybe the wind just, blowing by the building. I'm like, damn, what kind of wind is going on outside? Then when the pictures and the TV and everything all around me started shaking, then I saw people running out of the building. Then I saw the police running. I was like, oh, shoot. And then you guys like, get out of there. So I said, yeah, maybe I should. So Just be careful, everybody. You know, and that's what we always talk about. On our show, we always try to bring the truth and shed light on the truth. That's why it's so important, because you never know when your last day on this earth is. You never know when the Most High is coming back. So our souls and our spirits have to be in order. We can't continue to follow the traditions of man and do what we want to do because it just feels good to us. So that's what grandma's been doing or mama's been doing. We really have to wake up and do what we need to do and get our souls right and follow Most High's laws.
I'm looking on X and seeing people post from the subway. The subway underground was shaking.
Wow. Yeah.
What? Ooh. And this truck is down. There's like a ramp where they deliver trucks to wherever. And oh my gosh. And the truck slid back down the ramp sideways.
Wow.
So our prayers is with everybody, because I'm sure as the day progresses, you will start to see the damage from this 4.8 magnitude earthquake that has hit the tri-state area, and definitely anywhere around that epicenter of Lebanon, New Jersey, all the way into New York City. So our prayers go out. It is 9 minutes to the top of the hour. We normally end this podcast at 10 o'clock, which is 11 o'clock on the East Coast. So we're going to do it still the same way. Here's why. Right now is the time that you be concerned about yourself and your family, not about this podcast. I'm telling you, I am thankful that God allowed us to witness. And Jax, I'm happy that you, being one of our loved co-hosts, is doing well. Sabrina, I thank you, Miss Lamb, for coming on. We look forward to seeing you again. We need to get some financial literacy to all the people who are clicked in with us, and we want you to be the catalyst for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first start off with Sister Lamb for some closing words there in New York.
Thank you for being here. Great job, everyone. I've watched the podcast. And Sister Jax, the point that you just made, all of this disruption is happening because of how we're treating each other and the earth. And while there's pain happening in everywhere, particularly different regions, Gaza, Haiti, Sudan, wherever it is, this is the earth's response. There will not be peace anywhere until there's peace everywhere.
Thank you, my sister. We appreciate you being on. Sister Jax, give us some closing words from there on the scene in New Jersey.
Yes, thank you so much, Sabrina. That's so true. I appreciate you guys. It's funny, I just spoke to my mom briefly, and I was like, Mom, I didn't want to die live online. So I'm still a little shook up because, you know, that could have been my last moment. That could have been any of our last moments. So I'm so glad and thankful that God put breath in my lungs to continue to fight and live another day, to fight for my people and to try to wake my people up. And I just want us to use wisdom, prepare those bug out bags, y'all, because guess what? What if your home just now did crumble? What if your apartment building did indeed crumble? What if it was a 7.2 magnitude earthquake or worse than that? What would you do next? So we really have to use wisdom, use the spirit of discernment, and take some time to get closer to the Most High and do what you have to do to be safe, but most importantly, get your spirits in order. I love you guys. Be safe.
Appreciate that. And, you know, Sister Jackson, Sabrina, and I want to thank Sabrina Lamb, one of my co-hosts on our Open Line Online broadcast on WBLS. I was able to come on. I want to thank Noah from the press department at New York City the mayor's office, for also getting back to me, getting this information out. And as that we said that this hit around 10:30 this morning, we saw Sister Jax in a building where we saw her room that she was in shaking 4.8 magnitude and felt all the way up through Massachusetts down to Philadelphia right now. And as we stated, the epicenter was Lebanon, New Jersey. So we gotta keep an eye on this situation in the Northeast. People, I think Sister Jax said it best. Be prepared the best way that you can. A lot of things we just never know will happen, but it's best to be prepared. I think more information is going to start coming out since we're going off now. I'll just try to keep people aware the best way I can through social media. But with the trains in New York City, with buildings being built and things like that, we have to wait for more information to come in. Some people are saying that now they experience the internet being down for many others, and we're going to have to find out. I'm going to find out from the city what's going to happen with the New York City subway system, because with the earthquake, they got to make sure this thing, doesn't shake in the next few hours, because if there are tremors coming, then they may have to cease the New York City subway transit system that is running underground and above ground, because they're above ground. So they may have to. So we'll keep you posted as best way we can.
We definitely will. And we once again send our prayers to everyone who is in the affected area as we get ready to get off. And Brother Fatim and I may come back on later. We may come back on later, depending on the information he receives, I receive, Sister Jax receives, and the people in the tri-state area receive. But once again, what we do know is a 4.8 magnitude earthquake has happened. It has affected a wide distance. We actually witnessed it here on this podcast as our co-host, who was in Plainfield, New Jersey, Sister Jax, in the midst of this podcast, the room started shaking. She saw people running out the building. We told her ourselves, get out.
Oh,
and
God.
she has reported live from the scene. So once again,
Joe,
I do. Yes.
Let me
Go
just
ahead.
say this. Sorry, Joe. And normally I don't do this. So someone sent me a video, and this is the subway system in New Jersey. I'm looking at it. The lights were blinking. There's a train car in the station. The lights are blinking. Then a fire has broken out onto the left side.
Oh, Lord.
And yeah, I'm looking right at it now. Matter of fact, this is live. Oh my God, the train just derailed. This is serious. The train just derailed. Just now.
Okay. Oh,
People
Lord.
see the smoke. You see the smoke and the fire?
And water. And it seems to be water.
Yeah.
Water
This is underground in
going
New Jersey.
Okay, so family. Okay, we're going to stay on a little bit longer. Yes, we're going to stay on a little bit longer, just a little bit longer. Family, if you have loved ones that are in this area, check on them. Now is the time to check on them. I was needing to get out of here, but I'm just.
No. If you got to go, Joe, no.
No. Something in my spirit says just stay just a little longer. So listen, family, and we're gonna bring Sister Jax back in. So hey, Sister Jax.
Hey guys.
So Brother Fatim had just showed video. Where is this at in New Jersey, brother?
I don't know where it's at. Somebody just sent it to me, and it's the ceiling in the train station is falling, and it's a fire to the left side. A fire has broken out. See the fire right there, people, and there's a train that's going to be coming in. Now watch, see the station. I'm trying to show it the best way. So in a few minutes, you see the lights are still going. Now watch this train comes in. See it, and look at there. It derailed. It just derailed.
So family, it's 2 minutes to the top of the hour. We're only going to stay on for about another 5 minutes.
And they're saying this is New York City. This may not be New Jersey. Someone said live footage from the subway in New York City.
Okay, so family, wherever you may be at that may have been affected by this 4.8 magnitude earthquake, be safe. Check on your people. Check on all your people. Make sure that folks are okay. If they need any assistance, any help, we do not know how communications in these areas are running right now. We have had reports of the internet being down, phone lines not working, cell service not also working. So we may come back later on today and try to give you an update from New Jersey, from the connections that Brother Fatim has in New York, and definitely we will keep you on top of what we can give you with the information that we receive. We want everyone to be safe. We want everybody to stay prayed up. We want everybody to do what they need to do to make sure that them and their families are okay. And with that being said, I do got to get out of here. So, Sister Jax, be safe, my sister. Be safe,
Thank
Brother
you.
Fatim. Brother Fatim, you be safe also. Let me say this, family. It's times like this, you got to start really looking at what's going on and understand that Mother Earth only going to take so much before Mother Earth sets forth her immune system to start making sure that things get back lined up right. That's all I got to say about that. Today, family, today, be better than you were yesterday. And do something today to help somebody that there's no earthly way that they can pay you back, because we're all on a time clock and we don't know when the sands of times are going to run out for us. My prayers go out to all that have been affected by what is happening there in New York and New Jersey, and in any area that was affected by that 4.8 magnitude earthquake. It's 10 o'clock. And I'm going to close like I always close. Always remember that there is no secret what God can do. What he has done for others, he will and he can do for you, for when God is with you. Nothing or no one stand against you. Y'all be blessed. Take care. Be safe. We'll be back next week. God bless. We out.
The part you like to play. How long will you go on this way? Things you do blow my mind. I see you doing it to your own kind. Now you've got babies too. What in the world is wrong with you? Don't you even care at all? Brothers, sisters, hear my call. Can't you see what you're doing is wrong? Why can't we get along? Check yourself, change it. We have gotta change our way. Change it, so change our way. Don't you know? Can't you feel in your heart it's your people that you're tearing apart? This I know. Change it. We've got to change our way. Change it. Change our way. Right now. Believe it right now. People don't give a damn. I try, but I can't understand. Always hurt ones we love. I wonder what we're thinking of. All the things we're going through, it's a reflection of me and you. Maybe we lost our way, fussing, fighting every day. Can't you see what you're doing is wrong? Why can't we get along? Check yourself. We have gotta change our way. Change our way. Don't you know? Can't you feel in your heart it's your people that you're tearing apart? This I know. Change it. We have got to change our way. Change our ways. Change our ways. Can't you see? Why can't we get along? Ooh. Well, change We have got to change our ways. We can change We have got to change our ways. Right now, we have got to change our ways. Oh, you know we have got to change our ways. Right now, we got to change our ways. Change our ways. I have got to change. Can't change our ways. Can't do it for me. Have to change. Got to change. Got to change. Got to change. Got to change. Change our ways. Have got to change our ways. Right now, change our ways. We have got to change. Have got to change our ways. Change our ways. We have got to change.